when I was at NBC about creating IT cosmetics. And she did have the high, I can't even do it, my voice is too low, but she had the high squeaky voice a little, but she's really leaning in, octave up. And the two of them have the weirdest dynamic. And so in this podcast, Meghan does her perfectly curated life thing. Did a zero in, like we zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight, Dan. Look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this.
Can you imagine being Archie or Lilibet and opening this inbox of 6,000 emails when you turn 18? No one wants that, not the children. And also it sets this really unrealistic expectation, which Meghan is so good at doing for other parents.
If I don't have meetings in the morning, then I try to do school drop-off. They're at 2 different schools. So from 6:30 in the morning on drop-off mornings for me, I'm not home till 9.
Her life is so hard because she has to do school drop-offs. And thank God that she's got a live-in nanny.
Up. Meanwhile, she's got like the perfect blowout, you know, and like she's completely camera ready, except she didn't put eye makeup on. And she also is pretending that she...
They say laughter can shift the energy in any room, right? But here's the twist. What happens when that laugh doesn't just break the ice? It shatters the whole illusion? Meghan Markle walked into her podcast debut with Kern Lima, expecting it to be just another polished showcase of her vulnerability. You know the drill. Soft tones, emotional pauses, carefully curated storytelling. She thought she had the formula down, but what came out of that room wasn't sympathy. Nope, it was Jaime's laugh. And let me tell you, it wasn't just a casual chuckle. This was the kind of laugh that stings, the effortless, knowing kind. The type that says without words, "Really? Is that all you've got?" It was powerful, it was disruptive, and Meghan, she was not ready for it. That laugh didn't just echo. It landed like a mic drop, and suddenly the narrative wasn't Meghan's anymore.
Done the world premiere episode of actually being on someone else's podcast. And the someone else her name is Jamie Kern Lima.
Do you think you'll be married forever?
Yes.
I have a letter.
He's also a fox, if you haven't noticed. My husband's very, very handsome. But his heart is even more beautiful.
Something's up here. See that little shoulder shrug when she said yes?
Yes, yes,
Did you hear how high her voice was when she said yes?
yes.
When we're stressed, our larynx closes up a little bit and our voice tone gets a little bit higher. That's why the pitch of the S is so high.
During promotion for Suits, she was joking with one of the photographers that she can cry on command. Left eye, go. And then you watch a tear fall down her face, and then she starts cackling because she's so proud of herself.
And in that split second, everyone watching was glued to the screen. Meghan, with all her dramatic pauses and emotional buildup, was angling for yet another heartstring moment, another highlight reel of "look at my pain." But instead, Jaime stood like a wall of authenticity that Meghan's playbook couldn't penetrate. It was like running headfirst into a mirror that exposed every performative beat.
Interviewed this person, but I didn't realize I had interviewed this person because she founded IT Cosmetics, which I remember interviewing her at NBC. I think it's the same lady. I could be wrong, but she looks a little different. But anyway, she was...
But you're the same.
You're the same.
Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And look, South Park is known for satire and for mocking people. No one is safe. This isn't the first time they've done an episode on the royal family, but this particular episode was quite scathing in the grains of truth that it held. And I'm not sure how the Sussexes are taking it. Obviously, it is a cartoon.
You just can't leave us alone, can you? Oh my God, he's so obsessed with us.
Wow, I know. Yeah. You just have to prove like you have the proof that you're proving that you can prove the proof. It's divine intervention that God brought you to this podcast today. Want some pretzels? I put them in a bag myself. These pretzels are divinely ordered. The pretzels of Sussex.
Meghan Markle, they've just learned the hardest of lessons, which is, if you start a brawl, do not be surprised if you end up getting punched twice as hard. In fact, South Park has just knocked them out.
There isn't a
successful lifestyle brand as ever. We sold out of everything in 45 minutes.
Amazing. You've been working so hard.
Oh my gosh, I worked so hard. I worked very hard and I'm still working very hard. Just not for the royal family. Yet, I still insist on being called Her Royal Highness.
On camera, Meghan did her usual thing. You know the performance, lowered voice, carefully placed pauses, and that Hollywood-perfect hair more suited for a magazine cover than a raw conversation. But here's the problem. The camera zoomed in and there was nothing. No tears, no genuine break. The act was polished, yes, but it was also empty. The facade was cracking and the audience could see right through it.
And her brand became a billion-dollar brand, and she sold it to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion in 2016.
All for news anchor, right?
Yeah.
Like makeup?
Yeah.
By the way, no one offered me makeup at all here.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
We sold you down the river.
I'm nurturing you and I see you so deeply, and I love being able to see your growth. Of all things, it's making me emotional.
And is also apparently friends with Meghan. And in the world premiere of podcast.
And then, boom, came the accusation. Meghan, in full defense mode, tried flipping the script by calling Jaime a hypocrite. Classic Meghan move, right? When cornered, throw out a label and hope it sticks. But here's where it all flipped. Jaime didn't snap back, didn't flinch, didn't even dignify it with a counterpunch. She just laughed. And this laugh? Oh, it wasn't a giggle or a fake chuckle to be polite. Number. It was that kind of effortless laugh that cuts deeper than words ever could. It was the I see right through this laugh. And with that single sound, Jaime turned Meghan's attack into irony. Meghan's words? They lost all their sting in that moment. What was left behind was unforgettable, because everyone watching knew Meghan had lost control of her own show.
She didn't make the Times list of cool people, but she did get invited there because her agency probably bought her access. This is one of the goofiest things ever.
Because I think it speaks to the tiny moments of joy that are so effortless and just create a little bit of magic that we're all craving.
What in the hell word salad is this?
Tiny little flower petals that are dried. I started putting them on salads. I started putting them on scrambled eggs. Level of charm that you find people have when they see these tiny little dried petals is something I can't fully wrap my head around, but I appreciate.
I'm elevating it by putting dried flower petals on all of my food.
She married for money. It's very clear she bagged the elephant. She was thrilled. She became a, quote, princess.
I mean, Meghan did claim that before dating Harry, she never Googled him, and she said she didn't know much about the royal family.
It was planned from the beginning. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it. And
Before they met?
Yes.
Now, let's remember who Jaime Kern Lima actually is. She's not some random influencer trying to grab attention. This is the woman who built IT Cosmetics from scratch, pitched it over and over, and faced rejection after rejection, more than 1,000 times. And when the world doubted her, she did something absolutely legendary. She went on national television and took off her makeup. Yup, all of it. Redness, rosacea, skin texture, everything. And you know what that moment did? It changed the entire beauty industry. She showed the world that authenticity isn't weakness, it's power. That's who Meghan was up against in that podcast. A woman who doesn't need spin or fancy lighting to prove her worth.
Stops. Here is the intro of the episode. Look at this.
Of Sussex in her first ever podcast interview.
It's happening!
It's not about the grandeur of a gesture.
So when Meghan tried to drag Jaime down with the whole hypocrite angle, please, the accusation just fell flat. Jaime's legacy screams louder than any insult Meghan could ever hurl. This is a woman who doesn't need royal titles or curated vulnerability to validate herself. Every single rejection she faced became fuel, and in the end, she turned all of that into the ultimate billion-dollar comeback.
40 minutes into the podcast, this little picture, quite a grainy picture, flashed up, which shows a basket of, homemade preserves with a card on it, HRH, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan.
You dropped off this gift basket with ice creams, homemade strawberry sauce to put on top of the ice cream.
I find it a little bit cringe to give a gift to a close friend and sign it Her Royal Highness.
Why even in private? She's using that full title, Her Royal Highness.
I would never refer to myself as Her Royal Highness.
They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm gonna put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends.
And the contrast between these two women, honestly, it couldn't be more obvious. Meghan has spent years crafting this image. Carefully curated vulnerability, soft lighting, emotional storytelling, and the constant narrative that she's always the victim. It's a formula designed to win sympathy. But after a while, It starts to feel repetitive. Meanwhile, Jaime doesn't need all of that. She doesn't need to posture. Her presence alone communicates strength and authenticity. And that, my friends, is why her laugh hits so hard, because it exposed the gap between performance and truth in one unforgettable moment.
Thank you for trusting me with your first ever podcast and with your friendship. Yeah.
Means a lot, Jamie. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a very accepting person. Truly, I want to like something about her. I'm searching for something to like about her, and it's so hard.
And this podcast with Jamie Kern Lima was absolutely car crash. I mean, Jamie Kern Lima is actually a very successful woman, a self-made billionaire. However, she is a fame whore because, she first found fame by appearing on the first series of Big Brother. She believes that she's the new Oprah Winfrey. And the problem is, you realize these are the types of people Meghan Markle is surrounding herself with. And none of them are prepared to ever give her a dose of reality.
That laugh wasn't cruel. It wasn't dismissive. It was a line in the sand. Meghan wanted to center the conversation around her pain, her truth, her endless grievances. But Jaime, she reminded everyone that real empowerment isn't about one person's ongoing victim story. It's about a movement bigger than a single narrative. Her laugh was more than reaction. It was a statement. It said, "This isn't just about you, Meghan."
If it's truly what we want, then we really can get away from it all. No more magazines and Netflix shows. We really can live a normal life. Yes, I'm sure you agree, darling. We can be the people we talked about being, with no more worries about how we look or the image we project to people. What matters is what we have on.
What do Americans really think of Harry and Meghan? We despise them.
So why did you say yes to doing this show?
Because it's you. And to me, that means...
Are you okay? Oh, that's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. What's my line? How are you? I know, you always make it about me. I do. So now let's discuss. Wait. You're supposed to talk about how amazing I am at being a friend to you?
Here's the thing about Jaime. She doesn't need to defend herself with headlines or long-winded explanations. Her life is the defense. She built an empire from nothing, clawed her way through rejection after rejection, and still came out on top. This woman didn't marry into wealth. She wasn't born into fame. Every single win she's had, every milestone, was earned with sweat, grit, and resilience. Grit. So when Meghan tried to slap labels on her, honestly, it was laughable. Jaime's record speaks louder than Meghan's words ever could.
But before I go to bed almost every night, I email them.
Wow.
They will end up at one point in their life, maybe when they're 16 or when they're 18, that I say, here's an email that I've been keeping for you.
Because that's really what you want when you're 18. 40,000 emails, Maureen, from your mother.
These emails are so that when my children are of age, they can come to me and say, oh my God, you loved us so much. It's me.
And here's the raw truth. Jaime never needed Meghan to elevate her. She doesn't need the royal glitter, the spotlight, or Meghan's so-called platform. Meghan couldn't give her what she's already earned. That laugh, it wasn't a clapback. It wasn't even shade. It was clarity. It was the sound of a woman who knows her worth, who doesn't waste her time engaging in petty battles. Meghan lives on carefully spun narratives. Jaime, she lets her legacy do the talking.
Usually when we're together, we're in our cozy sweats and no makeup. So that's how we are today.
No one's picked up my book proposal yet.
Yes.
I haven't found my soulmate yet. Everything is yet.
The power of yet.
The power of yet. Yet. Yet.
But I'm happy. I'm happy. And the kids are healthy and H is great. But I'm trying to also enjoy these big wins right now.
Yes.
Enjoy them.
Yeah, she's a princess too, and Harry is slaying dragons to rescue her.
You know, look what we've built. We've built a beautiful life and we have 2 healthy, beautiful children. And I always think about it like the end of Super Mario Brothers when you get to the final level. And what's the goal in Super Mario? They're like, slay the dragon, save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband.
Who is Harry rescuing her from? The family she abandoned before making him abandon his?
And trust me, Hollywood has been watching this play out. The timing could not be worse for Meghan. Remember when she and Harry were the ultimate disruptors? The golden couple who broke free from the monarchy and promised a modern fairy tale? Back then, it felt fresh, bold, revolutionary. But fast forward to now, the shine has worn off. Deadlines missed, stories changed, grievances repeated. It's all left the industry rolling its eyes, and that's exactly why Jaime's laugh landed like a bomb. It wasn't just about Meghan in that moment. It echoed everything Hollywood has been whispering quietly. What once felt fascinating now feels exhausting. Meghan's narrative isn't revolutionary anymore. It's repetitive, and in an industry that lives and dies by fresh energy, repetition is death. Jaime didn't even need to say it out loud. Her calm, knowing chuckle told the whole story.
You've had it harder than literally any other person on the planet. Even Jesus, nailed up to the cross, didn't suffer as much as you. I know. Just love that this is what the Lord willed me to do with my will. To make another podcast where celebrities can talk about how hard their lives are, not to help people. No.
And let's be honest here, Meghan's pattern has become painfully obvious. Every fallout, every broken deal, every strained relationship somehow circles back to one theme: someone else's fault. The royals were cruel, the press was unfair, Spotify didn't understand her, Netflix limited her voice. Over and over again, Meghan spins the same victimhood saga, but audiences, they're tired. What used to feel moving now just feels draining. Meanwhile, Jaime doesn't need to weaponize her pain. She doesn't take her struggles and turn them into a brand. She doesn't squeeze sympathy out of trauma for relevance. She built her empire in silence and let her results do the speaking, and that's why Meghan's little attempt to call her a hypocrite just didn't land. It wasn't about invalidating pain, it was about exposing performative sorrow. Jaime's subtle laugh said it all. I'm not buying into this performance. Here's the truth. Empowerment looks very, very different depending on who's holding the mic. When Meghan talks about empowerment, it almost always circles back to her. Support women, sure, but only if she's the centerpiece of the conversation. It's empowerment, but filtered through her own spotlight. Now compare that to Jaime. Jaime empowers women without needing applause. She mentors quietly, uplifts consistently, and she doesn't package it into some flashy spectacle. That's the difference. Meghan turns it into performance. Jaime lives it without needing validation. And that's why Jaime's laugh was so powerful. It wasn't mockery, it wasn't cruelty, it was a boundary. A signal that said, I'm not letting you twist empowerment into a vanity project. Meghan wanted to control the narrative. She wanted the room to orbit around her curated sorrow. But Jaime reminded everyone, real strength doesn't need to be curated. It simply exists, quietly, undeniably. And no matter how hard Meghan spins her PR wheels, she cannot compete with that. And guess what? That viral podcast moment lit up Hollywood, studios noticed, executives noticed, and suddenly Meghan's already shaky brand started to crumble even more. The backlash was immediate and ugly. Studios like Paramount and A24, they didn't just cool off, they cut ties completely. Contracts slowed down. Affiliations were put on ice. All because one authentic laugh exposed the cracks in Meghan's facade. It's brutal, but it's real. Hollywood doesn't forgive easily when the shine wears off. What makes this even juicier is that Jaime didn't need to say a word afterward. She didn't rush to social media, didn't issue statements, didn't fuel the fire with drama. Her life, her empire, her reputation, they're already the proof. While Meghan spins empowerment into a personal brand, Jaime embodies it, no stage required. And the contrast between the two couldn't be starker. Now here's where it gets even messier. Meghan's performance was supposed to be this heart-tugging highlight reel. Instead, Jaime's laugh turned it into a spectacle, but not in Meghan's favor. And Hollywood? Oh, they were paying attention. Insiders whispered that her polished vulnerability act has become predictable. No tears, no authenticity, just a tired routine. And the fallout? Brutal. That viral moment didn't just embarrass Meghan, it triggered a wave of backlash that pushed studios to reevaluate their partnerships. Some outright pulled the plug. Meghan's brand wasn't just dented, it was bleeding. Because here's the problem. Meghan's entire playbook is stuck on repeat. Every deal gone wrong, every partnership dissolved, it's never her fault. Always someone else to blame. The royals, heartless, the press, cruel, Spotify, unfair, Netflix, restrictive, and sure, audiences used to eat it up. But now, they're rolling their eyes. It's exhausting watching the same narrative dressed up in new clothes. Meanwhile, Jaime doesn't need pity. She doesn't parade her struggles as currency. She doesn't turn trauma into a sales pitch. She built an empire from grit, rejection, and sheer determination. And when she laughs at Meghan's antics, it isn't to mock. It's to remind us all that authenticity cannot be faked. Meghan's attempt to brand Jaime as a hypocrite didn't just fall flat, it backfired spectacularly. And you know what's even more telling? Hollywood is whispering louder now. Executives and producers who once rolled out the red carpet for Meghan and Harry are quietly retreating. The fascination has morphed into fatigue. That once glittering brand, it's not a hot commodity anymore. It's a liability. Because here's the gossip that nobody says out loud, but everyone knows. Meghan's story doesn't feel fresh anymore. It feels tired, played out. And in the land of Hollywood, where momentum is everything, that is the kiss of death.